Do you struggle with being vulnerable with people? Because I do. I really do. I think this is something that I've needed to work on for a very long time. I've been in the process of working on pieces for most of my life, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And I'm guessing that if you clicked on this video, you're in the same realm that I am at this point. And I think that vulnerability is such a key point in every aspect of life for you to really truly live in your authenticity, for people to really get to know you, like the actual you, not who you show them to who you are wanting to be or who you want them to see you as. But opening yourself up opens you up to a lot more possibilities in life. And that goes for relationships, that goes for jobs, that goes for just life in general. You can have the strongest relationship with somebody, but if you don't have vulnerability with them, it's not going to work out. It's not going to be as strong as you think it may be. You don't have the triangle method. You really don't, because a triangle is the strongest shape in the little shape realm, whatever the fuck it is, shape world. You are living more in a square. It looks sturdy. It seems pretty sturdy. You might be able to put a little weight on it. You can sit on it a little bit. But if you apply enough pressure, one of those points within the square is going to fold. It's going to fold, you're going to fold, the relationship is going to fold. And that's where nobody wants to be. We want our relationships to have the triangle method, to where at any point of pressure that is applied on this triangle, you're not going to fold. It's going to remain strong. And having vulnerability with people will allow you to have that triangle method, because it shows trust. It allows them to support you. It also lets you know how that person will react in certain moments or just to you in general. If you try to be vulnerable with somebody and they tend to dismiss what you're saying, if they get aggressive, if they get defensive towards what you are saying or saying how you are feeling, then you know right then and there that it's not the strongest relationship. It's not the strongest bond that you can form with somebody. Because somebody who's really there for you is going to support you. They're going to give you advice to help better the situation that you're going through if you're having struggles, or just to meet you on the level that you're at. And whether they're on the same level with you already or not, they will try to meet you where you are at, and the information that you're giving will be heard and received. That's the difference in the people that you are dealing with and who you can be vulnerable with. And you're going to know who you can be vulnerable with. You can even test this out. Give them a little bit. You don't have to, balls to the wallet with all your trauma. Give them a little hint like, hey, this is, how I feel about this. And if they react with, defensiveness, you kind of already know you can't talk to them. But if you give them that little bit and they take it and they actually help you or they want to know more, they are intrigued and they're willing to put forth effort into understanding where you're coming from, you may have done something. You may have found that one that you can at least put your trust in to give you advice, that one that you can put your trust in to take your feelings and show them how you are feeling, display to them what is going on in your life, even if it pertains to them or not. It could be somebody completely out of the loop that's affecting you, or even them themselves. But that's how you know that person is going to hear you. A lot of time in life, our vulnerability, I guess, in the way that we show it, is kind of affected, or a lot affected, by our childhood and how we were heard as children. If you were in a home of where you would say, Mom, Dad, I feel like this, and that, and you were met with defensiveness, or you're fine, don't worry about it, go sit down, I don't want to hear about it right now, I don't have time for this, you're not going to want to be vulnerable with anybody. Honestly, that's something that's going to turn you off to just wanting to open up in any aspect at all. And sometimes it's something you don't even realize that you struggle with, but that's how you were brought up. So it's just something that you are just inapt to doing. It's just in you. And you don't realize that you don't want to be vulnerable, or that's that trigger point for you to not say anything, because that's how you were raised. That's how you were treated. And a lot of the time, that's a lot of our situations, to be honest. But there's also the other side of the spectrum where if you were a kid and you came to your parents, hey, this is bothering me, or this is going on in my life and I feel like this, and you're met with, okay, sweetie, come sit down. Let me talk to you. I wanna know more about what's going on. Why do you feel this way? What made you feel this way? What can I do to help you? Or, we can try this, we can do this. Somebody that's willing to sit with you through your vulnerabilities is somebody that needs to be cherished in your life. Somebody that you can always hold on to for years, for decades. I promise you, those people are going to be the strongest bonds that you have. And you will know who you can trust and who you can't. Sometimes, people will give you a good facade. They really will. They will do their best. But it will show through at one point or another. And unfortunately, sometimes it comes after showing those vulnerabilities that you realize those are people you shouldn't have shared them with. But that's a learning lesson. That's why we call this show, this podcast, The Journey of Learning. Because we're going to go through these things and we're going to show ourselves to people who don't need to be shown that certain side of yourself. And that's fine. Because at the end of the day, after a few years, who the fuck is going to remember that? I mean, you might, other than that, nobody else. Fuck them. Fuck them. Who cares? Who cares? All you need to do is be true to yourself and be vulnerable with yourself. That's one of the hardest things. I'm telling you, that shit is so hard. To be truly vulnerable within you. I'm telling you this from my experience today. I don't even know what happened. My car broke down today. I was kind of having a little bit of a rough time. Not really. I slept a couple of hours on some much needed sleep. And I tell you, I needed to catch up on that sleep so bad. So I passed out from 6 p.m. to 10, 11 p.m. So got some good sleep, finally. Much needed. Didn't know I needed it, but much needed. Felt a lot better, actually. And then all of a sudden, hit by a train. Just emotion. I never really sit down. I never sit still. I'm always moving. I'm always doing something. I'm always this, there, that. Whatever it is, I'm going. I'm on the go. I'm not thinking about really much of anything anymore. And I've always done a lot of self-work. And I've gotten myself to a pretty good point in life. But I don't know what happened. I think I was just hit by everything that was building within me that I haven't been able to really address as of recent. And having to sit there and be vulnerable with yourself as to why you're feeling this way is something like looking in the mirror. Sometimes you don't like what's looking back at you, but you still gotta stare it in the eyes and be like, what's going on? Are you okay? Let's check in with self, because obviously something's not right if you're feeling this way. What is making you feel this way? Is there somebody that you can reach out to that will help you while you're feeling this way? And I don't know what came over me. I think I needed just help. I needed to reach out to somebody. But when I made this call, it wasn't even for help initially. I think I just wanted to get away from my thoughts. So I called my friend, and he answered with my 2 rings. I can always count on him to answer. I love that so much about him. But he answered the phone, and I started off normal, cool, collected, going through the conversation like regular. How was your day? How did it go? Great shit, And then all of a sudden it just, now I'm talking about all my vulnerabilities that I really don't tell anybody about. It wasn't anything super in-depth, but it was in a way. But I had got onto the topic of, I haven't really sat by myself, I guess, for a while. I've been moving constantly. I haven't really had time just to be in my brain, And I was pretty down about my car because right now I'm a little strapped. I don't have a lot of money to put into it. But I just needed, I guess, some sort of comfort in the moment. And thank God for him being the person that he is, because he is a connection to somebody who can help me with my car, and so that relieved a lot of stress. And then I was just telling him a lot, honestly, and kind of I've hinted about my upbringing and how it's affected how I do certain things in life, how I've spent my whole life alone, but not alone, if that makes sense. I come from a pretty big family, but in a lot of ways I felt alone through a lot of my life because I've had to be the one to do this, I've had to help out here, I've had to do this, I've had to do that, I've had to help raise all of these, like a lot that left me alone but functioning in the world of being surrounded by people. So I was talking about that. I went into a little bit more of, just kind of some depression-ish thoughts. I won't say that I'm in a full-blown depression, but it was a really depressing moment, I guess I can say. And it felt as though I was depressed for those couple of hours. I brought myself out of it, I hope. But it was just something to reflect on. But the way that I was met with support, trying to solve some of the issues, why do you feel this way, relation, a lot of just, I want to say giving energy, someone who is willing to give me the time, the space to be me, to say what I need to say, to be that backboard for me to bounce things off of. And I know that sometimes talking to people can make them feel as though you're dumping things on them, but I really didn't want them to feel like that, like at all. I didn't want him to feel that I was, using him as a therapist or anything like that. Because honestly, that's the first time I've reached out to anybody for help, like ever. I've never seen a therapist in my life. I've been my own therapist throughout my whole entire life. And this was a time I feel like I just couldn't deal with it by myself. And that's a lot for me to say. That's a lot for me to say because a lot of shiznit I deal with on my own. And I'm so grateful for him to being that person that I could go to. And at the end of it, he was like, you're probably going to end this call and you're probably still going to be upset about the situation. You're probably going to end up crying and all this stuff, which is true. He was right. But I let it happen for maybe about 5-10 minutes. Got my little boo-boos out. And then right back to who I am. Remember who you are. And the fact that you were able to be so vulnerable with somebody is progress. It is a big progression in where you've come from. Because even a few months ago, I would have almost gagged at the thought of me being that open with somebody, not being in a relationship with them. And I wouldn't have known what to do. I'd have been like, I just need some me time, or would have just would have retreated into myself. But I am very proud of myself for being able to reach out to somebody and speak to them. And I really hope he doesn't feel as though I was dumping anything onto him, because it wasn't anything crazy heavy, at least I don't think. But it's very appreciated to have that person there. So if you're struggling with being vulnerable, just find that one person, that one thing, even if it's journaling, for you to do to get that vulnerability out of your system, to become comfortable with vulnerability. Because honestly, being vulnerable with people will lead you to a lot more growth and opportunity in life than being closed off. Because say you have feelings for somebody and you really want to let them know, but you're scared of being vulnerable, you're scared of the answer that they're going to give you, just do it anyway. Because if you don't do it, you're going to hold on to it, and maybe you both never say anything, for years. But at least if you get vulnerable in it and prepare yourself for the worst, but hope for the best, you could be taken in a whole different direction in life. That could set your path to be the path that you're always meant to be on. You guys are maybe meant to be on this earth together, and it's so profound that you were the ones who just give in and say something because the other person was never going to say it. You know? So I think that's a very key piece of vulnerability. Also, being vulnerable with the people that you care about and you love is in your family. A lot of the time we think that these people may just know, or that you're scared to be vulnerable with them because you don't want them to feel any type of way, because these are lifelong people you're going to have in your life. These are people who have helped raise you. These are people who have been around you since you were born. You know, you establish these relationships and they think that you're fine, they think that everything's good, but you're scared to be vulnerable with them. That's not a good relationship. If you can take the time to sit down with your people, and if you're having problems with 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, address it. Address it. And it may not even be a problem. It could just be something loving. You want to give a loving message to one of them, but yet you don't want them to think that you are weird or you're just emotional, maybe you're on your period. No. I want to be vulnerable, and I want to tell you that I really appreciate you. I love you. And I want you to know that I'm here for you if you need anything. And I hope that you're here for me if I need anything from you. Those are just valued relationships in life. So don't look at vulnerability as a hindrance or something to be scared of. Look at it as a positive. Look at it as something that will take you from one place to another for the better. It will open doors for you. It will open relationships for you. It will make you feel less secluded, less isolated. You'll be able to feel as though you can feel openly. You can let people know what's going on inside of you. You don't have to be the people that you put out into the world that is your persona. You can actually be who you are. You don't have to live the life that they think that you live. You can live the life that you actually live. And if you love me, you love me. And if you get to know me, you know me. Other than me giving you a facade. And me not being able to open up to you when you are somebody that I hold close to my heart and I should be able to. And like I said, if you are met with anything other than support, love, and comfort while trying to be vulnerable with somebody that you care about and that you love, you might just have to let them go. And that's the let them theory. Mel Robbins right there. Let them. Let them feel how they feel about you being vulnerable with them. And if it's for the positive, it's for the positive. If it's for the negative, it's the negative. But at that point, you let them, and you let yourself leave that situation where it's at if it's not benefiting you. And if you don't feel supported in it, let yourself let it go. Okay? Okay. But thank you guys for joining me on another episode of The Journey of Learning. I hope that these episodes are helping each and every one of you grow. I know that it's helping me grow. These are almost like a live diary for me. I'm currently experiencing a lot of these things that I talk about and that I go through, and I hope that if you're going through them as well, that you have somebody that you know is supporting you, even if we don't really know each other face to face. You know me right here in this face to face. So I love you. I support you. I am here for you. If you ever have questions, if you ever have something that you need to talk about and that can be addressed in a video, feel free to comment. I will get back to you. I will try my best to answer that for you. And if I haven't gone through it, whenever I go through it, I will answer it for you. Because life is life and it's going to keep lifing. So I hope you live in love, light, and happiness. And I cannot wait to see you in another episode of The Journey of Learning.